Hello, teacher. Good afternoon. My name is Jorge Espinoza. Welcome to this language testing assignment. Today, we're going to be talking about a fascinating topic, which I'm quite fascinated about, which is scoring rubrics and evaluation. So let's get started. Okay, in order for us to understand a little bit about this topic, I would like to introduce first the concept of what a scoring rubric is, okay? So rubrics are a way to make explicit or expectations what students will need to know and be able to do in order to receive a given grade. Rubrics help instructors to develop clear and attainable learning objectives for their students, and they provide it to students before to the activity serve to guide their efforts, okay? So basically a rubric will let know our students, will communicate them what we are expecting from them and how the task should be submitted. Here, I provide you an example of what a scoring rubric is. This particular one is for speaking, so you can see what it looks like, okay? And as you can see, all the categories that the scoring rubric has, so the students will know what exactly is expected from them and the type of grade they will get according to their efforts regarding performing each one of these aspects. Now, I would like to explain how rubrics are composed. Rubrics are composed of 4 basic parts. In its simplest form, the rubric includes a description of the task how students are asked to perform, the criteria by which a student's performance on the task is scored. This is usually presented in rows. A scale describing how well or poorly any given task has been performed. This is presented in columns. Scales 3 to 5 levels are typically used. Examples of labels are used that we use in rubrics are exemplary, proficient, marginal, and acceptable. We can also use advanced, intermediate, height, intermediate, and novice. And number 4, a description of each level of achievement for each criterion, and this is usually presented in cells, okay? Now, I'm going to proceed to answer the question number 1, which is, why do we use scoring rubrics when assessing speaking and writing skills? Well, as far as I'm concerned, rubrics play an essential role when assessing speaking and writing, since they will help to improve these skills and promote a better learning experience by maximizing the student's potential. How so? As far as speaking goes, a speaking rubric can help to assess many aspects of speaking, such as interaction, pronunciation, fluency and coherence, vocabulary and grammar. By doing this, the students will know what aspects they need to work in their speaking, such as use of correct word stress, sentence stress, intonation patterns, narrating incidents and events, real or imaginary, in a logical sequence, okay? They will also be able to present oral reports or summaries, making announcements clearly and confidently, expressing and arguing a point of view clearly and effectively, taking an active part in group discussions, showing an ability to express agreement or disagreement, summarizing ideas, eliciting the views of others and presenting its own ideas, expressing and responding to personal feelings, opinions, and attitudes by participating in spontaneous spoken discourse in familiar social situations. As you can see, these are some of the benefits that a rubric will provide and help as far as speaking goes. Now let's talk about writing. What are the benefits of using a scoring rubric for writing? A scoring rubric in writing can help to assess and improve the following aspects. It can help to work better the focus, for example, because by the students they're gonna be able to polish their focus abilities. This will allow the student to present clearly the main idea and support it throughout the writing process. They will be able to work better in their organization, so that students know how to prepare a well-planned writing document that will include the title, introduction, statement, a main idea, transition, and conclusion. They will be able to provide a better content, so students are aware that they will have to provide a well-presented and argued content where the ideas are detailed, well-developed, supported with specific evidence and facts, as well as examples and specific details. And finally, they will be able to work better in their style, that will help their students be aware of their sentences that are clear in a varied pattern from simple to complex with excellent use of punctuation. So these are some of the benefits that students will be able to improve when using writing rubrics. Here I am showing you 2 examples of what does a writing rubric looks like, okay? Now, I'm going to go with question number 2. What's the difference between analytic and holistic rubrics? Rubrics come in many forms. Here are some of the key types along with the advantages and disadvantages of these rubric types, okay? So let's start with the holistic rubrics. Holistic rubrics stress an overall evaluation of the work by creating single score categories, letter or numeric. Holistic rubrics are often used in standardized assessments such as advanced placement exams. But what are the benefits of a holistic rubric? They often save time by minimizing the number of decisions graders must make. Multiple graders, such as teaching assistants who norm with holistic rubrics, tend to apply them consistently, resulting in more reliable measurement. They are good for summative assessments that do not require additional feedback. Summative assessments. And as far as disadvantages of holistic rubrics, unless the space is provided for specific comments, they are less useful for offering specific feedback to learners about how to improve performance. They are not very useful for formative assessments, where the goal is provided actionable feedback for the student. And this is what a holistic rubric looks like, as you can see. Now, let's talk about the other type, which is an analytic rubric. Analytic rubrics stress the weight of different criteria or traits, such as content, organization, use of conventions, etc. Most analytic rubrics are formatted as grids. What are the benefits of using an analytic rubric? They provide useful feedback to learners on specific areas of strength and weakness. Their dimensions can be weighted to reflect the relative importance of individual criteria on the assignment. They can show learners that they have to make progress over time in some of the dimensions where the same rubric categories are used repeatedly. And as far as disadvantages go, they separate scores for different aspects of a student's writing or speaking performance, may be considered artificial, and in that it does not give the teacher or student a good assessment to the whole performance. They often take more time to create and use, and it can be challenging to name all the possible attributes that will signal success or failure on the assignment. And because there are more dimensions to score, it can take more time to norm to achieve reliability. And the last one, given the evidence that graders tend to evaluate grammar-related categories more harshly than the other categories. Analytic rubrics contain a category for grammar may provide or negatively skewed picture of learners' proficiency. And here I am presenting you an example of how does an analytic rubric looks like. As you can see, this is an example that I'm providing you, so you can see and take a look at what an analytic rubric looks like. Okay, so you can see it's more complex, and definitely just as the disadvantages were presented, as you can see, the disadvantages are quite greater than the advantages. So that will be all for today. I hope that you guys like my video, and I look forward to see you in the near future. Thank you, and bye for now. Have a great day.